Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Kim, and in this video, we're going to be chatting about the books I plan on reading for the remainder of 2025, which is Wilde. Now, I will say that I've been reading a little bit slower lately. That's not a bad thing. The last couple months, I read 4 books each month, and then I think before that, I read like 3 potentially. So, anyways, the pace has definitely been slower, but that's not a bad thing. So, in front of me here, I have uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5 books. Oh, goodness. 5 books that I plan to read over the remainder of this month and into December as well. And I will also say that I'm not somebody who has like firm TBRs all the time. So I do also have next to me some books that are like alternate backups in case I don't feel like reading one or two of the ones within this stack. So we'll see. The other thing too that spurred me to make this video is because I've been reading a little bit slower lately, like my pace, have not been able to read a book within an allotted library loan time. Um, and sometimes if I like keep the book beyond the allotted loan time, my library starts emailing me saying like you need to return this. And I just have not been able to get to them in a very timely manner. And so I also canceled all my holds, digital and otherwise, through the library in an effort to really just focus on reading what I own from my own shelves. Um, because I have a variety of books on my shelves that I have not read that are from a variety of genres. I have sci fi, I have fantasy, romance, thriller, mystery, and literary fiction. All the books that I have on my shelves, at one point in time, I saw them and I was like, yes, I want to read that book. I'm excited to read that book. And so, really, what I'm saying is that there's not really much of an excuse for me to neglect my own shelves because if I'm in the mood for one kind of book, I just go to my shelf and pick up the one that I have. And yeah, so holding myself accountable to it. I also did a book haul video about a year ago at this point, I think. and yeah, I really need to read what I've hauled. So without further ado, we will just jump right in, starting with what I am currently in the middle of right now, and one of those is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I am pretty well halfway through at this point. This is going well. Basically, this is a fantasy sci fi book where in this world we have gone beyond Earth and we have Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, all the different planets. And within this world, there's also a color hierarchy. So the reds are like the lowest on this hierarchy in this society. Golds are like the highest you can be, very well respected, wealthy. Well, not well respected per se, but wealthy and just like the upper echelon. And then there's pinks, browns, and they all kind of have different functions within society. And red is definitely the very oppressed color in the society. And I'm coming to read that, like, generally speaking, all the colors aside from the golds are oppressed in some fashion. And Darrow is the main character we're following along with, and he gets recruited to become a gold. They he becomes a gold, and it's all in an effort to infiltrate the gold society and just like turn the world around upside down. So I don't want to say much more than that, but I am enjoying it so far. It has definitely been a exercise of patience with this, though too. The world building has not come kind of like easily to me, and the characters, like there's a ton of characters going on. There's a lot of words being thrown around where I'm like, what does that mean? And there's no glossary or any kind of guidance necessarily within this. So I've definitely been turning to my fiance and being like, okay, what is going on? This is what I know so far. This is what I think is happening. Like, can you confirm? Can you deny? Like, am I on the right track kind of a thing? So it's been going well. But I say that to say that because it's definitely been a little bit to wrap my head around, I want to make sure that I read the remainder of the trilogy and potentially the other books within this world in quick succession. So once I finish Red Rising, I'll be going to Golden Sun, which is the second book in the trilogy. And if I finish this before the end of the year, then I will go into the third one, but I'm not going to put pressure on myself to read it that quickly per se. But I do aim to hopefully read this as well before the end of the year. So then also I don't lose the details that I know of the world and what is going on, the characters I have met, because it's extensive. So this is number one of the books that I'll be reading for the remainder of the year. Also, this is not in any particular order. These 5 books I picked for my shelves this morning because I was looking at my shelves and I was like, yeah, I could be in the mood for that. But I do have the backup books as well in case I don't feel like reading these. And a good example of that is One by One by Ruth Ware. I really enjoy Ruth Ware's thrillers because they're very atmospheric. And where I live currently, we have not had our huge permanent dump of snow yet. Like we did get snow the other day, but it's all melted away. But the winter season is approaching. I know it's approaching. The skies are kind of gray where I am and everything, and they seem to be full of snow. And so, anyways, this is a thriller where 8 colleagues are in the French Alps for some kind of work trip, and they get picked off one by one. And so, yeah, it's an isolated, locked room thriller, is my understanding, and I look forward to it. So, typically, though, with my thrillers lately, I have been very, very picky with what I like and what I'm not liking. And if I'm not enjoying a thriller, if I'm not enjoying the way it's being written, or something about it isn't working for me, then I tend to just put it down and leave it be. So basically, what I'm saying is if this does not work for me, I do have, oh God, can I pick all these up? These are all from my own shelf, a variety of other thrillers that I can pick from. That I was at one point in time very interested in reading. So, but this one is definitely the priority because it's kind of like seasonally appropriate and I'm just in the mood for a atmospheric thriller at some point. So this will be good. Then I have 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. I bought this book like 2 years ago when I first started my booktube channel. And yeah, this is a short story collection from her, and I really, really have enjoyed Lily King's books in the past. I have Writers and Lovers and Father of the Rain. Writers and Lovers was the introduction for me to Lily King, and then I promptly read Father of the Rain thereafter because I read what the book was about, and I was like, that is for sure up my alley. I loved both of these, and so I say that to say I'm fairly certain I'm going to really enjoy her short story collection. It's 10 stories, I believe, and so I might do something where I might read it like 1 story a day or 1 story a week. I don't really know. We'll see what I kind of feel like when I pick it up. But yeah, this has been on my shelf for a very, very long time. And I always look at it and I'm like, I see you and I know you see me and I promise I will get to you soon. But I'm not going to delay that any longer. I'm going to read it this year. So this is another one to close out 2025 with. Okay. Now, I also am intrigued to read The Glass Castle by Jeanette Wilde. This is a nonfiction and it is about her very dysfunctional family. Her father struggles with addiction. Her mother is a free spirit who doesn't like the idea of domesticity, did I pronounce that right? And doesn't want the responsibility of raising a family. And from what I know about this is that it's very hard-hitting and just a very well-written book as well. And so if I feel up to reading it, I definitely want to be in the mood when I do pick this up. Because I know, I'm fairly certain that I'm really going to enjoy it and I'm going to be emotionally impacted by it. So yeah, definitely want to read this before the end of the year. Now, the alternative, if I don't feel like reading The Glass Castle, is Anne Patchett's Bel Canto. This is also one that has been just like staring at me on my shelves for months and months and months. And I am like, every time I look at it, I'm like, I really want to read you. I do. I mean, all these books I really want to read, but you know, this feels like one that I could like, this could be good as we're heading into the holiday season and things are just, you know, holiday parties are happening and everything. And I don't know, I feel like I'm gravitating towards it, I suppose, is what I'm saying. And I don't really have a rhyme or reason for why I'm gravitating towards it. I just am. So this is an alternate. Okay, now, because some of these books definitely have the potential to be quite heavy and sad, or just kind of like darker themed, and Red Rising, surprisingly, is very dark. And I say surprisingly because I didn't really know what to expect necessarily going into that. But anyways, I don't anticipate that the series is going to get any less dark. So all of that to say that I could very well be in the mood for a reread potentially. And so I picked up You Again by Kate Goldbeck. And I read this, when did I read this? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But this is a When Harry Met Sally inspired romance. I really enjoyed this when I read it. I watched the movie afterwards and appreciated the nod, the nod to the movie that the author had done. And so I might feel like rereading it. And also, there's a period of time, like this spans, I think, years, if I remember correctly, but there is a significant part in this where it's like New Year's Eve, the holiday season kind of a thing. So yeah, I could definitely feel like rereading this. Now, the alternate option, if I do feel up to rereading, is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I reread Part of Your World last Christmas. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, last Christmas. So, anyways, I might feel like rereading one of her books, and I'm slowly rereading the Part of Your World trilogy, I suppose. And so, yeah, this would be next on the list. And there's something about rereading that's really comfortable and just kind of like its predictability. It's like, I know what's going to happen in here, I know what I've enjoyed, but it's also like upon reread, ideally, you peel more from the story or you get more from it. So yeah, we will see. So anyways, this one is also on the list if I feel like rereading. This is a big if. The other thing is I forgot my e-reader. Okay, I will be right back because I have books on my e-reader that I'll talk about, and I'll be right back. All right, okay, so I went and grabbed my e-reader. I forgot it. However, I read Frankenstein recently, and this might sound a little bit silly, but I had always kind of thought that like I wasn't smart enough to read classics for some reason. I don't really know why I thought that, but I just kind of always look at classics as this like these dense novels, and how, you know, I don't know, it's like they were obviously made a very long time ago, and for some reason I have nothing I can point to say this is why I think this way. But yeah, I just always kind of thought like classics aren't for me, like I'm not smart enough to read them, which is silly. It really is. And I think I was just also very intimidated by a lot of them for a very long time. And then I read Frankenstein, and I really enjoyed Frankenstein. I enjoyed the depth of the story, the characters, the themes. Like, I thought it was really good. It wasn't like my favorite book that I have ever read, but as far as a introduction into classic literature as like an adult that's outside of a school curriculum from when I was younger, I had a grand old time. And so it kind of gave me some confidence to read other classics and just kind of consider adding them to my library potentially. I don't really know. Anyways, all that to say, that was a lot of words just to say that like I'm now interested in expanding my reading to the classics as well. And so if you have a Kobo or like a Rakuten, account, you can get some of the classics for like $1 or $2 depending on the edition of the ebook. So I found a couple of classics that I had bought. One of them was free actually through the Kobo store, and then the other one was I think like $1. So that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde and Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So yeah, I definitely have those two classics as options as well. And classics is interesting, to round out what I was saying earlier about like being really intimidated by them. I've been seeing a lot of like booktubers who read classics very regularly, and just the way they talk about them is very makes them seem very approachable. And so I'm like, okay, like I'll dip my toe into here. And the thing with classics too is like you kind of know the story, you know what's going to happen already. The story is spoiled for you, for lack of better words. And so you kind of know what to expect. And I think for me that really helps with like getting used to the language that's used and the tone of the story and how it's like, a very, very old text. And so I kind of am able to follow along in that way. But anyways, so in total for the rest of 2025, we have the two classics, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm definitely not going to read all those. The classics is definitely one where it's like an either or situation. So I'll either read The Picture of Dorian Gray or Jane Eyre. And I'm kind of at this moment that I sit, and I'm definitely leaning more towards The Picture of Dorian Gray. So definitely have quite a few possibilities and options for the remainder of the year, which I am very excited about. I'm excited to clean up my own shelf. I consider the books that I have bought on my e-reader my own shelf. I'm sure some people will strongly disagree. But my goodness, I'm trying to close this. But yeah, I include this because yeah, I have bought some books for like $1 on here and I just haven't gotten to them. But yeah, I'm excited for what I have in store for reading for the remainder of the year. I also think that this will be a good opportunity to not only just read the books from my own shelves, but clean up my shelves, because typically if I read something from my own shelf that I don't really love, don't really enjoy, wasn't like a thoughtful gift from somebody per se, like my family's gifted me some books that I maybe didn't love, but because they gifted it to me, I'm like, I'm keeping it on my shelf kind of a thing. Anyways, all that to say that there could very well be some books on my shelves that I can just donate, or I can put in a little free library or do a swap at a little free library. So yeah, a little bit of cleaning house. The unread books on my own shelves have definitely been an open kind of mental loop in my brain for a very long time. And so this will be good to just close that loop and get that cleaned up, for lack of better words. So anyways, that's pretty much the plan for the remainder of the year. Will I read all of them? I don't really know. Maybe I might read maybe even only half of them, judging by how my reading pace has been lately, but I'm not mad about it. So anyways, let me know down in the comments what you're reading for the rest of the year, if you have any books that you're particularly very excited about. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. I hope you're enjoying what you're reading.